It was getting hot in here, so hot, like Terry. Guys, know I did my lashes, so I've been so I must. But it was emotional, so it was getting. So I needed to come back so that we can continue with this beautiful conversation. I was part of the story. I was there, but hearing it now differently, because for me, Tshepi, it takes me back to how I've seen you and how I've viewed you. And this is helping me to really now understand what was happening.
Yeah.
Because I remember with the house and I remember with the shopping. I'm glad that not judged you, but there was a point whereby as a caring sister to say, I karwa overspender. And you taught me something that I was not doing. But no, Pumi Mina, this is what I do. I know my budget. I know you've been that person who, when you budget, you budget.
Yeah.
You will tell me, I go and I don't know if you remember, you were like, let's look, online shopping, if you see, this is how much.
Yeah.
So what I will do is, I know that I'm going to have this cap and this cap, this, I'm going to get it that day. So it is 2,000, but I can buy it in 4 months.
Yes.
That's what I do. And then I got to understand that your shopping was not, as much as there was time where it came as it helps you to cope.
Yeah.
But it was good, it was mindful. It was not a mindless. And I'm happy to hear that it was exactly that, you know, because I've grown, I've learned from that. Welcome back. I've grown. Actually, it helped me to learn budgeting, because when I was bad with that, but that's story for another day. And I learned a lot from you and your courage. And when you got a house as well, those are the things where I saw your strength. I was one of those people. I know I only saw your strength and you being strong, but I actually really did miss you going down.
The downfalls.
So and then that was the time where when we were finishing, you were like, hey, it went down.
I know the ship was sinking. But other than that, when we come to the money point, just quickly, I was a sales junkie.
Okay.
Apart from budgeting or laboring, I was a sales junkie more than anything else. So something would be 2,000 rand or 1,000 rand, and I'll say, okay, fine, I know in the next 3 months, but I'll buy two city again to go sailing. So I'll wait till then, and then when I go back, I'll still say, is it still worth me buying it? 700 rand.
Yeah.
And I'm like, let me give it another month or couple of weeks, 6 weeks or so. I know so then that's when I get whatever that I wanted to get. No, and I always say, okay, spoiler, because
but you
why
good
not?
With
you know?
I remember.
So but when things happened, and I remember that day, having this conversation with myself, I had already run out of excuses from work to say, why am I being absent?
One hour cooler,
the other one. There's a flood in the house. My dog is sick. If we didn't have a dog, so, and you run out of excuses. Really, you run out of excuses. And in 1 week, you can only have so much excuses. Yeah. So this one day, I realized, you know what? Today, I actually ran out of an excuse to excuse myself from work. So what is it going to be? And then nothing happened. The next day, the same thing happened. I just said, excuse me from work, which was a normal SMS that I was sending. Please excuse me from work. I'm not feeling well. And it just became that. But then it became something where now I suddenly excuse. So what do I start saying to the person that I was reporting to? And am I going, after this whole thing, am I still going to have a job to go back to? Do I still want to have a job to go back to? That was another conversation that I was having with myself. But then realizing the responsibilities and that, hey, you know what, Rona, we are not blessed with mama or papa that's got extra or siblings that can say, okay, fine.
And we want you.
Yeah. I mean, looking at all my siblings at the time, I was the only one that's employed, or it was just me and my little sister, but she had her own issues, and the money wherever she was working, Nasa any that much. So, and then you look at Mama and Papa, they are all at their old age, both of them, and home. So it's that thing, you can't even go to somebody and say, can you help me up until I get myself sorted?
Because I can't go back to work if I lose this job.
Exactly. So my only option was, we're going back to work. You've got kids, you've got a roof, you've got responsibilities, and unfortunately, it's not like you can ship the children to their father side of the family and say, "Ai, bagaetsho,
Yeah.
can you take over?" and whatever the case is. I do remember at some point they wanted to say the father's family proposed that they must take the firstborn. And I was like, sorry, if ever and I said, you know what, yes, in as much as you feel
would help, but
it will help, but I don't see how separating the children is going to work. The one thing that I've always believed is growing up from a family where we went mama ka mama or mama ka baba or auntie's grand or dad's aunt or dad's sister or whatever. For me, it showed me how divided we became as a family. And if anything that I was trying to run away from was that very kind of setup when raising my children. And then I decided there's no way I'm going to have both of them growing apart. It's either whether I have
soldier
or whether
on.
I don't have.
Let's soldier on.
And I think that came from one of the conversations that I had with my mother. You know, sometimes our parents have these conversations with us. Resa realize actually it's a conversation or it's a lesson or it's a teaching or it's something that you can take away with. But sometimes they also say these things randomly, and some of them are harsh, and some of them come or
it comes as an example. Somebody's not saying it like step by step. This is what I'm saying, or and mean what they're saying. Yeah,
I mean conversations with our mothers were indirect. So sometimes you actually try to figure out this. Okay,
what is she saying?
What is she saying? But I think now more so fairly, and you realize it's like, this is what it meant, or this is what she was trying to say. But you know, I think when depression hit me in 2015, it was around May, and it went on. It started.
So
a
how
long
did
time
you know
ago.
then, Guti, now it was depression? Because when you were feeling the way you were feeling, did you know that you were depressed? Did you know it was depression? Did you know, Guti, it was this illness that we must not take for granted?
I think I suspected.
Oh, okay.
I think that voice had said, "You are this."
Okay.
And I was in denial, maybe, or I was trying to say, how can I label it either than it being depression?
Okay.
How do I?
And then, did you know what depression was at the time?
I didn't.
Or what it could be?
I think I had an idea, but at the time I was also not certain.
Okay.
And obviously, seeing the behaviors, I started looking it up. I started reading about it, and a lot of similarities came out of it.
Okay.
The not eating, the sleeping, the only time when I felt safe was when I was asleep. Anytime during that, during the day, that was my night. And because I never used to draw my curtains, I never used to open the door, not even a window. I stay and I close the door of my room and I sleep. What the kids do at 3 and 4, that age,
They must sit
there's the TV in front of them, there's a whole lot of junk, and if they ever say Kellogg's, quickly take a cup. I tell them, there's this cup, you will put Kellogg's in here, there's this cup, you'll put milk in there, and then take a dish, put in there, and then you eat. That's how I used to explain to them. Or I'd say, bring the Kellogg's to me. I'm in bed. I'm in bed. Bring the Kellogg's to me.
Oh my God.
Bring the Kellogg's, bring the dishes, bring the milk, whatever. Okay, we want bread now. Okay, bring the bread to me. Bring whatever, bring the butter, bring the cheese or whatever. And then they bring, and then with side plates or whatever the case is, I'll do it from bed. And I say, okay, you're good to go. Go. Now you can go.
Sure.
And sometimes if I ever woke up at night, I'd actually prep kaftin or snacks or whatever so that they're there, and then I'll divide them, because if you don't divide, it's war.
Yeah.
But I then realized, you know what, these people are picking this up, and because they're picking it up, it might be more difficult for them to recover from seeing you like this than you seeking for help. And that afternoon, that day, when I ran out of excuses, I then said, okay, fine, we're dropping them off and we're going to the doctor.
Okay.
The doctor said, nah, from what you're describing, depression. I said, okay,
So it was
go
confirmed.
to a psychiatrist, whatever the case is. I got a referral. I got there. I sat there for hours and hours, and I was probably the last patient of the day. Around 5 o'clock, I'd already made a call for someone to go and fetch my children because I don't want to miss this appointment, and I don't want to go back home without confirming.
Or getting help. Now
now I'm
you're
like
seeking help now.
Now I'm like, okay, Sasa, you've got 3 days. If they don't hear from you, it's absconded. So you've got 3 days left. So now you have to get that letter. And apart from the letter, you cannot go back home and relive that life. So I get there, fine, we talk what's going on. I explain, no, I'm not sleeping at night. If I don't sleep at night, I cry. If I don't cry, I start having episodes of how I'm just going to exit myself out of this life thing because I am exhausted.
Just tired,
And really, I wouldn't even care what's going on right now, and the execution would change of how do I exit. Do I do it with the kids? Do I do it by myself? And if I do it by myself, what happens to them? So it's also like, okay, fine, maybe I should do it when they've gone to school. Maybe I should do it at night while I'm with them and do it to them as well. Or, it was different things every day. But more than anything else, sometimes I just sit and cry. I had tears for days. They could fill buckets and buckets full. And that's why I came morning negative. I had no
because
energy
you are
left in me.
You empty.
Yeah.
Empty.
Yeah, and there's nobody to talk to. And I can't have, how to lalibana, there's no adult conversations,
Oh yes, that's
so
another thing.
you also miss that thing of coming home and
talk
have
to somebody.
adult conversation.
Yeah,
and sometimes
I talk about work and
and vent. Sometimes you actually have to phone somebody to actually, and the
it's not
phone
the
is
same.
not the same. And I think when I got to that doctor's room and like, you know what, I'm sorry, I can't let you go back home. I'm sorry, you are a danger to yourself, you're a danger to your children. What I want you to do right now is go home, pack your bags, and I want you back here in an hour.
Sure.
I'm admitting you are depressed. And I'm sorry, letting you go home will be danger. So you are already at that level. You are not entering, you are already in jail.
Yeah,
There's
so it's
no
not
ways.
a mild, it's not a,
So we are not talking about putting you on treatment immediately. I went to hospital and I was hospitalized for like 21 days. That 21 days, I think it was necessary. It's almost like you had a death wish that said, no, I want to die, but I want to have a break.
Yes, okay, I know. Been there. I know.
But I want to have a break.
the type of death where when I want to wake up, I can just wake up.
Yes.
But I still want to die.
Exactly. So the 21 days in hospital was good, but also on the other side of reality, it wasn't helpful. Because 21 days you are protected, you talk about your emotions, you go through therapy,
And there's other people going through the same thing. Now
Well,
you feel good, you're not the only one.
unfortunately or fortunately for me, when I got there, the psychiatric ward was full, so they had to put me in a normal ward. So I wasn't with the depressed people, which made my process even easier, because I think having to seeing other people that had the same or other even worse, like your what's this, amnesia or whatever the case is, it would have made things worse for me. But having to be in a normal ward with normal people,
then you
that
feel
were
like,
just in and out,
it's not too bad.
So yes, I would go to the psychiatric ward just to see if I had sessions there, group sessions, and that's the only time I'd go up there.
Okay.
But I was in a normal ward.
Okay.
And through that time, I was able to actually bring myself back.
Okay.
You know, and as hard as it was, I think the challenge became when I had to leave the hospital, because the hospital made it so safe, made it so easy for me to open up about what was going on and what I was going through, and there was a better understanding of.
So it was a safe space, which was not. Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I need to leave this place at some point.
You,
but now
you know you have to leave, but and as much as you knew that you had to leave, I also knew that I needed to be better for my own children, for my own sake, for what I had already started as an individual. I've never been a person who easily gives up.
Yeah.
If anything,
tough cookie, I know.
If anything, I think that's one thing that I don't like when people say tough cookie. It's like then if it's like a person has set a bar, and because of they look at you as that, it's. So you can never have an emotional moment in front of people. You can never have a bad day because of that is how you are classified. But little do they know.
So this is what we need to learn as people, as friends.
Yes.
As well.
As family too. Because of, I don't think I got substantial or enough support from the family front. Going through all these things, because everybody assumed
you fly,
I'll rise above, you know. And strong. Besides the breakup, you know, when mom says, but linyalo ha le tlogele, and you're like, and already you know, her having to speak like that, she's not okay, she's not happy, and you know, it was more of batho you know, I mean, just the other day, and then today you don't want any of this. Why don't you fight for it? Why don't you do whatever
family
for
support
me?
In everything is important.
It's important because
and for people to understand where you are.
Yes.
And your decisions.
I think respecting one's decision is always the ultimate thing that you can give support to, and say, you know what, even if you mistake, it's okay. I will support you. You know, because I remember I had an outside room and a cottage outside Gohaya, and when the marriage part fell over and I decided, okay, fine, can I come back home? Until I can stabilize myself financially. And then at least I'll use my back room, and then yes, kita move out when I'm ready. But you know, when you're having that conversation with parents, and then the one parent that doesn't agree because they feel like you are responsible for the breakup, so therefore you cannot come home. You've made your own bed. Now it's time for you to.
So that's why you were saying that all the time when you were going through the breakup, the raising the kids alone, to when you are depressed, you didn't see that you held on too much until the breaking point.
Makes sense. So ultimately, that breaking point brought me to a point where I wanted to be somewhere else, but unfortunately, life said, no, you cannot be there. It's not your time yet. We still have so much in store. We're going to live. We're going to see, we're going to learn, we're going to make mistakes, we're going to continue with this journey, and we're going to impart and instill and nourish these children. Because I do remember the way because of, at the same time, I still held on to the dream of, I want to go back to school. So I pressurized myself even more so because of career-wise, I was not getting anywhere, you know, and I realized if I don't go back to school, if I don't empower myself, I'm not going to get what I want. Yes, there's children, yes, there's work, but I still have to go back to school.
There's also your life as an individual, your own dream, your own purpose that you still need to live your purpose.
I still wanted a relationship. I still wanted to be loved. But, you know, being broken as you are, as your and you think, yeah, no.
And they don't
too
find you
much
in a good
admin.
space. Yeah.
Too much admin because you need to explain yourself. You need to opening up to somebody. It's still fragile and all of that. So
after hospital, that's when you started becoming clear of moving on now. Dreams.
No. After hospital, I still actually felt like I was still in and outside hospital.
Yeah.
Because of you come back after hospital, right? Like I said, you are in hospital, you are safe. You come outside. The reality of it is something else.
Okay.
Because you still have to play catch up. Work-wise, family-wise, social-wise,
Another pressure.
children-wise, school-wise.
It's pressure
It's
again.
pressure. So that pressure and the questions of where have you been?
Oh, yeah.
Because I was booked in hospital for 21 days. 21 days, I was still booked for another week and a half as an outside patient to stay home. So
It's
you
a
can
long time,
imagine.
and people now, and are you talking about it? Do you tell people? Because I remember I had from close as we were, but I had from somebody else, which you are hospitalized, and actually you are depressed. So there was that. But did you tell people, or you were like, you know what? No, this is my space.
I actually never told people.
Yeah.
I decided I don't want people to faff over me, because at the time I had already seen how people had treated me as I was coming.
Makes
So
sense.
I thought, you know what, I
me
don't
do
want
this.
any pretense. I don't want people that are going to ask me what now.
Or questions that you are not ready to
There were
answer.
things that I was not ready to deal with. And I think towards the end of my 21 days at hospital, only then I said to
Because I remember you
one
about
or
to,
two
yeah,
people,
yeah.
okay, you can come. I remember some colleagues said, no, we want to come. And like, no, thanks, I don't want that pressure.
Yeah,
And people had to ask and beg to say,
come.
please.
Yeah,
and it was only one or two people. With family, you can never say, don't come, Sometimes you see them, sebala. And you're like, you just pretend like you're sleeping. And then until they go, you open your eyes like, whew. Because, one of the things that came out was when my mom came for the first time to see me at hospital. She said, so, wahlanya. And I was like,
that's another thing.
And so you're thinking, okay, if
so there's
she
now
thinks
another
like this,
stigma
exactly,
of this sickness that is not true, then you start doubting yourself. Okay.
So it's like, okay, because when older people are asking, so but when's like, you're like, well, they said it's depression. So for her, she couldn't ask what is depression, whatever the case is. And yes, I'm not gonna make excuses. She's my mom and I love her. But also there's things that I was not in agreement with, and we didn't see eye to eye, or didn't agree to. We had our fallouts. But at the end of the day, I think she gives support in her own way, in her own understanding.
I think parents, we do that a lot because we think maybe like ourselves, not the other person. I think human race, we support from where we are. Like, I'll give you support from my understanding, and only to find sometimes my understanding is actually I have zero information. I cannot even claim at the time I knew what depression was until later in life, because that time we knew depression, but we didn't know how dangerous the type of mental and emotional illness was. So it was, and the whole thing
I think it's something
worse for my
where
parents
we now saying you are coming with an excuse. Or
taking responsibility of your life.
Just because you tried to commit suicide, now you want to run and hide yourself or depression. So to our people, that's how it comes out as. So when that wahlanya, it hit me so hard. It actually made every cell, every fiber in me to go still for a moment, and even that heartbeat was not there. And then I had to come and say to myself, okay, understand the age gap. and
Okay.
understand where you are.
Okay.
She sees what she sees. She understands the way she understands.
And the
so you
information,
cannot.
we
yes,
live in the
lack of
life of
information.
information
So
and
there's
lack
no
of-
ways because of her growing up. She knew it as that, and therefore we are not going to make this an issue. We are not even going
gonna
to
understand
Yes,
it,
we're going
yes.
to understand that it comes from
The misunderstanding,
yes, the
misconception.
lack of information.
True. Okay.
And yeah, coming out, there's school, there's everything to catch up, and more than anything, the kids. It was like, you know what, Lord, if I ever asked that I should take my life or whatever the case is, that is one thing that I wouldn't want to do without having to see these children through their life and without me imparting with everything in me that you have given me to say,
These are
bless
my
these
gift,
children.
yeah.
You've gifted me with them. I've mothered them for a reason. And there's no ways that you have brought me this far so that now I can say this journey. So
I can decide the exit, not you make
Yeah.
the exit be
You
what it's
know.
supposed to be.
So yeah, so I said, okay,
Sure.
fine. Let's leave everybody else. Let's leave everything. It's about
try
you. It's the kids. Let's
So it's
try
trying
again.
again.
And I looked at it that as a rebirth of who I was becoming. It wasn't a nice rebirth because you then understand that you've come through so many journeys and so many avenues and so many crossroads and so many hurdles, so many valleys, and through it all, the storms and everything
It's still
else,
coming.
you are still hopeful. You still have faith, and you still love. You still were able to find those moments where, after being hurt, disappointed, let down, and called names and labeled and not supported and being misunderstood and not being the one or not qualifying enough. I started saying I'm the unqualified because of, in as much as I've worked so hard towards everything, and I know I'm very passionate. I'm very passionate with my family. I'm very passionate with my relationships. I'm very passionate. Relationships, I mean, like friends everywhere. Like if you can
You do 100. You give 100.
yes, it's either go
either-
big or go home,
yeah.
or not do it because of I struggle to pretend.
Yeah.
That's one thing that I do. I struggle to pretend, and I feel like if I'm going to stay in a moment and pretend, I'm taking away a positive energy. I'm taking away a moment that I could be spending valuable somewhere else.
Yeah.
It's same as if I have a girls' night out and then we get there, get bored, and I'm thinking, yo, abantwana bami basendlini. I'm thinking, Tiko,
No.
what did I
No,
do?
yeah.
And then I'll find a way to say, guys,
I'm out.
Emergency.
I'm not gonna-
Yeah,
yeah.
high, bana, whatever the case is, get high. Because of, I then understand, Kore, you know what, being away from my children, it cannot be time that I'm not going to say when I come back it was worth me leaving them le aunties banbane or le koko, so that I can go and
So it
have
had to
my
be
own
worth
social.
it.
So every time when I had my socials, it always had to be on a night or a moment where I came
That
back
will be
home.
adding. That will give you value. That will, like
Yes.
the empty cup, that will add. If it
Yes.
doesn't, then
You know, and I then started scheduling my socials in a way that I do one-on-ones.
Yeah.
I never used to. I started then saying, you know what, because I think I'm misunderstood, especially in a social setting,
group, yeah.
and sometimes, like, as people, there's people that you will not gel with. There's people, you are a person wadi crowd and everything, where sometimes I would feel so overwhelmed because of personalities. And I understand there's personalities, there's characters, there's backgrounds, there's knowledge, there's opinions and all of that, but then at the same time, there's some of them that will overwhelm you to a point that you are not my friend, but we are seen, you know, and therefore you would rather say, okay, fine, if ever no, let's rather schedule
Plan us,
our thing.
And that was
Retlo
the
by
best
two,
thing ever.
Retlo by two, but how it goes, I'd rather have me zooming into you and you zooming into me, and however it goes, it will be led by the universe. I'm not gonna plan, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that. No, we
And
meet,
I'm so grateful
we meet,
for
we
that.
have
Yeah.
drinks, we do whatever, and that's it.
when our trips, we were planning, we're gonna go away. We're
Yeah.
gonna go out of South Africa. We're gonna go, then we have us time.
Exactly.
And
you know,
it
like, I
became
mean,
such a
even the
beautiful-
socials that we had, like once a month, would even move some things to say once a
With
month
the kids.
we're doing this, you know. And that worked better for me because I understood the people that I've surrounded myself even better.
reflections.
You know, where I'm saying, okay, fine, that person sees that strength in me, and that person sees that weakness in me, or sees something that I don't recognize about myself.
Yeah.
But also in different directions of life, where you then end up saying, okay, fine, I know how to station my pillars when I need
Station your pillars.
Yes.
I
So
like
in that way, you've already studied. Having one-on-ones with friendships and relationships gives you an opportunity to say, "Masole a gago tlo wa line apa jwang? Should there be war? Should there be a storm? Should there be whatever?"
Even family, hey?
yeah.
Because you can have cousins, you can have your siblings,
Hence, I'm
but
saying
sometimes
relationships
Yeah,
as a whole.
as a whole.
You know, because of you. Yes, we're going to what's this? Isolate relationships to say cousin, whatever.
yeah,
whatever,
it
but
doesn't matter. Your
relationships as a
whoever
whole.
comes to your space.
Yes, but
Yeah.
now you know, okay, fine.
Because not everybody, as much as Rikaba Bangata, but we will not get the same thing from
Yes.
every. Yeah.
How
from
do
each
I
and every,
use
yeah.
them as my foundation? How do I use them
As
as
my
my front?
pillars.
And how do I use them as the pillars when I need, when there's now, when they, Max Shubile, you know, when we're saying now, when shit is hitting the fan, excuse the pun, but yeah.
That's what it is. That's
is,
what it
you know?
is. Yeah.
So
wow.
I then had to learn to say, okay, fine, I need to build a defense force.
Yeah.
And
So it's been like that now in life.
it's been
When
like
you-
that, but it's ideally it's also not going as one would plan, because now life is happening, life is evolving in a way that we all have found our paths in life, and we all sometimes zoom into ourselves more than what we do into others or other relationships, that you then find, would say, okay, fine, you are more focusing on you, family, immediate family,
Yeah.
more than you and the outside.
Yeah. Like 2020 came, for me, 2020 came to reinforce that.
Yes.
But even if we're trying to do it ourselves because of life, but 2020 came to now say scale down.
Yes.
Came to say no, because we were laughing about it, but actually, why do my daughter was asking me, hey, you've been talking about this 50-50, and you know what, like what I was doing the show Flow on the 31st, I was doing reflections. So in the reflections, like actually life now has taught us, would say, if you're gonna get married, you would need minimum 100 or 50 people.
Yeah.
So why do you need more than that in your
A
life?
certain budget.
Where's, yeah, even no people. Let's start with
Yeah.
people who be there.
Even with funerals.
Yeah,
The
now
traditional way
funeral
that
is
we do.
even worse, where like 50, so you're gonna be buried by your immediate family.
Yes.
So you scale down to say, Masole, people that you surround yourself with, they must be those people
The
that
defense force.
if so if that defense, so it's the same one now that talks to your last day
Yeah.
when you part, is that will be the people that you actually need.
Yes.
And it
And
has
I
a
think
rubber stamp there.
we with society, society has built so much expectations. Society has built so much stereotypes to say, if you don't do this, you're supposed to do that. You know,
Yeah.
how to if you're a woman, you must be married by this age, you must have worked, whatever the case is. But the new generation is not going that way anymore.
Not at all.
And unfortunately, some of us find ourselves in the middle of the old generation, and you have to adapt to say, okay, fine, where do I see myself? It's no longer about what society
Is about.
what has been of society, or what the society has already been known, but it's more like it scales down to an individual to say, mina, mine is begile. where do I want to be and how do I position myself in the midst of everything else. So it's very imperative that we become very close with God and our ancestors. It's very important that we continue to listen to that voice when it speaks. Listen with patience, listen with obedience, listen with faith, listen with respect, listen with and most of all, listen with love. I don't think you will ever go wrong. I think I always say, you know what, in the ups and downs of life, we all want to be loved. We all want to be loved.
Irrespective.
And whether you've killed someone, whether you've offended someone, whether you've lied, whether you've cheated, whether you've stolen, however you come out to be, wherever you are, we still want to be loved. I sometimes one of my ex-friends once said,
ex-friends.
yeah, you even get to a point where you actually strainer and then you filter. So to the friends, then the things that you don't want, they stay in the strainer, and then whatever that's remaining in the strainer, you go to the bin and like, goodbye, thank you. You know, I think it's very important that we actually get to know when to draw the line, when to draw boundaries, and when to excuse ourselves from the table when respect is no longer served. I take pride in the things that I do. Like I said, I'm very passionate, but I also take pride. I take pride in the little that I have, where I feel nobody can come and tell me, no, this is how you're supposed to do it. Yeah. Yes, fine. It's a different thing if somebody's giving you advice, but your advice does not mean that is my ultimate decision or deal breaker. Yeah. At the end of the day, I am my own individual. I still have my values, I still have my principle, I still have my inheritance and my character, my personality. Yes, they are mine. And everybody has their own. Yeah. And therefore, I'm not going to, I know I come across as a very aggressive and a very bully person, but it's because of how passionate I am. Then it's easily mistaken as a force of, you know, I want you to do aggression, you know, but it's because when I believe in something and when I have a vision about something, you know, it feels like if I don't get it the way, I would have failed, or I wouldn't have done you justice if I don't tell you what I need to tell you. Yes, I know that there are words that can sometimes harm and that can offend and that can destroy. It's a matter of how we choose to deliver. Yes, how we choose to deliver messages. Yeah. Our words when we the sensitivity that we deal with. Let us not be ignorant that at the end of the day, my opinions are not your opinions, and therefore
we need to be able to meet where opinions are not shared.
Yes,
it still needs to be okay.
Yes, and the level of maturity as well. Yeah. It's very important because I think sometimes you deal with people where I could have stepped on your toe, not intentionally, but to you already look at it as you know,
it was meant as a sword to me.
It was meant to harm me. But even though one can go into a conversation and say, my intention is not to harm nor to take away anything that you have started or from you as an individual. What you are and who you are, I'm not here to change you. I'm not a project manager.
We are here to live this life together.
I'm here to learn. I'm here to grow. And what better way of doing it if I'm not going to knowledge share with you? Or what other way of doing it if I'm not going to have people like you having these conversations, as unqualified as I am to be on this platform, and tomorrow you know, you just feel like, okay, fine, Nikilimo today, but tomorrow I'm there. But through it all, you may see me as unqualified, but in my own merits, when I look at myself, I've done enough. And you still enough is not enough because of, I know the journey has not come to an end. Blessings are still coming up. A lot in store is still coming up. I always say to God, you know what? I don't know where you're taking me to, and I probably want to know, but I also don't want to
let
know.
me enjoy the journey.
I know
growing,
that there's a plan. I know that there is a gift that is waiting for me to receive it, that you are preparing for me to walk into it, but it's not going to happen until I am fully ready and I've let go, and when I walk into it, I would have prepared myself and you would have prepared that gift for me to walk into it. I always say I don't have the capacity, I don't have the wisdom, I don't have the knowledge, I don't have whatever, but the resources. But I know and I trust that one day I will walk into that venture, I will walk into that business, I will walk into that opportunity, and I will stand strong and I will light up that opportunity so that it then creates a wealth, it then creates opportunities for my community and my society and my children, my family. It will make a difference and it will say Tshepiso was here.
Oh, wow. She made it easy for me. I didn't even have to say. In closing, what's your takeaway, guys? Conversations with Phumzile. This is her story, and I am so grateful because I was here just to listen where she tells her story. This is why I do what I do, because it's beautiful to know how people have traveled this journey and where they are and what they still, still to do. I think we're gonna do a lot more. I would also like to do follow-ups because this is a new platform, so that people can see with Sisugale, and these are the things that we manifested that they will come and they will grow. So, and I know we had a plan when we do conversations too, that you're gonna be a big part of it, like conversations with Phumzile. So yes. Okay, it's written Tshepiso, so yeah. It's coming.
Uploading.
So I know, Guti, I want a show. I'm gonna have a home now of conversations. So I would like you to be a big part of that, and so that we can share, to say when we grow together, when we share dreams and opportunities, we can all exist in one space, and the space that we can all fill in without saying onka space saka. Everybody has a space. Thank you so much. This was
my
beautiful. So when we upload, obviously it's gonna be part 1 and part 2 because
she made me emotional ka Friday. And mind you, Cyril Ramaphosa, so I don't know how am I going to recover from this whole conversation ka Friday.
And then you've done it before. I know you will.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you.
And I'm grateful.
I love the fact that you involve Umbabi in the whole thing. Our production manager,
my PA, social media girl.
It would have not been possible without her.
Yeah, no, she has taken over. Let me tell you, she has taken over.
I love the idea that you're doing this with her. It empowers our children, as I always say. You know what? Wherever you are, whatever that you do, be transparent. Let them see, let them engage, let them decide, do we want to do this with you or not? Yeah. But now I see, she's got that interest, she's eager, she's very technical.
I'm director, sit here, but now I have a production. Guys,
exactly.
Yes, we're coming. That TV show, we want it and it's gonna come. And we're gonna have a producer. Manifestation. Thank you. I love you, Angel. But thank you so much. It was a pleasure being here.
Thank you, Phumzi. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Blessings for 2021. And yes, please check out more shows to come.
Yes.
There's more episodes to come. So join us, subscribe, hit us up, comment.
I said, ring the bell.
We are the unqualified of this world.
But we're
not
here.
The Beyoncés, we're not the Kanye Baos, but Sila.
Home sweet home.
Go next door.
Thank you, babe.